I don't need.
We have people from all over the world here. That's
Good afternoon.
Really?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Probably someone's watching the sunset. Other people are watching
you
the
can see the
sunrise. Good to see everybody here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another live session at Atlantic International University, AIU. So today we're going to be talking about psychology and the method of joining, what that means in counseling. And we're going to have with us Bahadir Bozoglan, who, according to because of the internet connection, because of the internet connection that Bahadir Bozoglan has, it's kind of unstable. So he's going to have to just not use his audio, use his video. He'll just use his audio. So you'll be able to hear him, but you won't be able to see him. And that way he'll have a better internet connection. So I think with all that, it's wonderful to see everybody here. I'm seeing names. I recognize names that I know and people that I've never heard of before. I see students. Bozzolano, I know you. Ramazani, I know you. Oh, now we can see Bahadir Bozoglan. Excellent. Victoria Chedley. Yeah, I know Joyce Sibeco. Yeah, I see many names that I recognize and other names that I don't recognize. It's good to have everybody here. It's because these live lessons are very important to actually just keep in touch with your learning, keep in touch with your exploration of knowledge, and anything you learn, you can apply in your life and in your work to live better and to reach your goals. It's always important to have goals and to keep working day by day on your goals. It's a daily practice. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Bahadir Bozoglan, can we hear you? Go ahead and speak. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All
we
right.
can see you. It looks good.
All right. Shall we go on?
Yes.
Shall we start?
Please go ahead and start. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background.
Before that, I prepared a short song because I'm a bit excited, stressed. So I thought it might be good to sing this song all together, or if they like, they can sing and dance. It is very short. Maybe most of you maybe know it, aware of it. I will just, okay. Okay, let's start with this song. Those who like to say can sing this song. You know the rhythm. You want? Shall we?
Are you able to
motivate? Yeah. Okay. Let's go on. If you like, you can dance and sing this song. Okay. I go on. Ram sam sam. Ram sam sam. Goody 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 goody. Ram sam sam. Arafi, Arafi, goody, 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 ram, sam, sam. Arafi, Arafi, goody, 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 ram, sam, sam. Aram, sam, sam, aram, sam, sam, goody, 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 ram, sam, sam. Aram, sam, sam, aram, sam, sam, goody, 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 ram, sam, sam. Arafi, Arafi, goody, 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 ram, sam, sam. Yeah, I just prepared. I think I cannot hear everybody. Okay.
Everybody is muted so that you can speak.
Okay. So hello everybody. If you like, you can also say hello. You will hear yourself if although I don't hear you. I feel a bit stressed. It won't be true if I said I didn't experience any stress. This is how I feel whenever I meet new group of students and audience for the first time. And how do you feel? Okay, and you all look great. So I would like to introduce myself first. My name is, you can read it on the PowerPoint presentation. My name is Bahadir Bozoglan. I have a PhD on psychological counseling. And so I'm a researcher, active researcher. And also I have 8-year training of psychotherapy, systemic psychotherapy, and also supervision. So for about 12 years, I'm doing both research and also psychotherapy. So we will, today I have chosen the topic joining, because joining is very important for the therapy, so that clients feel that you want to be part of their life, you want to know them. So it is also the second reason I've chosen joining, because it is the first time we meet today, and so we will it will be kind of joining. I thought during the practice and in the end of the course, your contribution will be very important for me for this lesson. This lesson will be like a psychoeducation and therapy mix. So if you have any expectations in the beginning of the lesson, you can mention it, express it, or do they have a chance to write it, Ricardo?
Sorry, what's that?
Yeah, if the about the online course, if they want, they can express their expectation. I said through messaging.
Oh, fantastic!
So
Yes.
If they have
Everybody
questions,
can type. Yeah, you can always type up in the chat a question, and me and Edward can present it to you, and also other students can see it. And also, if you would like, Bahadir, we can always unmute the group. If there's some participation you would like in the middle or at the end, we can unmute everybody. We just mute because a lot of times there's noise. You know, we have so many people in the class that somebody's going to have noise in the background. You know, it's normal. So just to keep it focused, we have everybody muted, but we can always unmute the group to participate in some activity. So that's fine as well. Also, you mentioned your presentation. Just so you know, for now, we're not seeing it. I don't know if you want to share the screen again to put it back up on the screen.
Okay, let me do it.
Sure. So excellent, everybody. We're up to close to 72 participants so far, some more joining, and we're ready to get started. I hope you all enjoyed today's session.
Okay, I am sharing the screen one more time. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, we can see it. Perfect.
Yeah, I think I have already shared, but due to the internet connection problems, it may sometimes go, as far as I understand, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so now and in the end of the class, I will be pleased to hear your expectations, and it will be very important for our personal improvement. Yeah, okay. Again, hello everybody. It is nice to you have all here, and I will be happy to have this class with you. Okay, now I start the class. If you have any comments. Okay, Rick, I go on.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So always first lessons to know the audience. Okay, I will mention in the first few slides about overall view of the systemic approach, and then we will go about what joining means and some specific techniques of joining, and then in the end we will have some practice or some question about this, and we will try to find answers to these questions. Yeah, this will be how we will together have the lesson today. Okay, systemic approach. Okay. Systemic approach system is a social unit, you know, comparing to other psychotherapy approaches. Systemic approach consider the clients in their context, you know. So context, the environment clients live are very important for the therapy. Individuals, our clients, are not isolated from their context or the places they live. So it's important to take their context into considerations. So in terms of the client's problems are assessed thus in their context. In their context, in the end, systemic therapy aims to improve their family or functioning. When we mean family, it doesn't have to be actual family, but also it can be the other members of the system they live. When we mean system clients live in, when we mean family, okay. So it can be actually a family, or also it can be systems clients living, you know. So I would like to clarify it. In the systemic therapy, it is important to learn different perspectives, including the client's perspective as well as the others' perspectives living in these particular systems. Okay. In terms of systemic model, in brief of the slide 3, earlier slide, systemically every behavior client is context dependent. So every client lives in a context. If the context changes, thus the meaning of a problem or can change. Overall meaning can change. What it means this. In terms of the systemic therapy model, systemic perspective is the problem of an individual of the context they live. What it means, client is the symptom bearer, not the source of the problem behavior. The problems are not created by the clients or the people, individuals, but the system itself create the problem. I will, in the future slides, mention what they mean. Feedback loops, interconnections. I will give brief of it soon. In systemic therapy, clients, as a therapist, work both individuals and with other members of the system. They can do directly with the members of the system, inviting them to the therapy, or they can be also included into therapy by asking several questions, as if they are in the therapy, you know, as if they exist in the therapy. Yeah. Systemic therapy focuses on not changing the persons, but changing the system itself. As this systemic approach considers that problem is created in the system rather than individuals or clients create the problems. So when the system, it is believed that when the systems are reframed or reorganized, the problem will likely to change. So it is important to form a new insight to the context, new information. So during the therapy, new perspective, new data, new informations, by asking variety of questions are tried to provide so that people have new perspective and new choices about their problems. So overall, the problems are not the reality, but they are created by the system or system members. So I just want to make sure that everything is okay. You can hear me, and is everything clear? Ricardo, can you hear me?
Yes, everything is clear.
All right. Thank you very much. Just sometimes technically the voice goes. I just want to make sure. Okay. Thank you. So when working with the client context, all our aim to is broaden the perspectives. So the clients can see their problem from a new view and can have a new choices. So I'd like to briefly mention some of the concepts in systemic therapy. Yeah, family is members of the system that individuals or clients live. It includes sometimes neighborhood, community, school, or church, other relevant factors. Elements means computers, like parts of the computer, leaves, branches, roots of the tree. As each part of a tree is important for it, also each member of the family or system is important for systemic therapy. Interconnections, yeah, it means that if anything changes in a system, then it affects directly or indirectly the system and other members. It contributes to the problem negatively or positively. Yeah. Feedback loop, it means that impact of each person's behavior on another in a family or system. Yeah. For example, if to give an example, if a parents have a problem between them, then the children, it may be reflected to child who directly or indirectly witnesses. So child may start behaving in a different way, so may not sleep on time or may not work their classes, as the parents have kind of relationship problems. So any matters or problems between other members of the system can reflect to the third or another member of the system. It means that. Also, it can also reflect to other outside members of the system, like family of origin and neighbors, school, etc. Another important term, just I am mentioning some of the important concepts in systemic therapy. Circle causality recognizes the importance of the feedback loop system. For example, behavior of A is impacted B, A's behavior subsequently affects the behavior of B. In addition, a person's behavior can unintentionally be caused by family members trying to fix or prevent something from happening. Yeah. Now I will mention some skills used in systemic therapy. Systemic approach focuses on strengths orientation rather than weak parts of the clients. It mostly focuses on the strengths of the clients. For example, earlier successes of the clients or earlier things they achieved are brought to the therapy so that they can see that they have a power to handle problems, and they will have motivation to handle any potential problems. Another technique is reframing. It means that seeing the problem in a novel way who can lead to different outcome. Yeah. So normally clients look at their problem from a narrow point of view. So when we reframe it, we have give chance them to see their problem from a broader view. A positive connotation. This technique describes negative behavioral attitude in terms of positive adaptive health aspects. For example, client's anger may be due to their deep love of their daughter. So instead of stating that client is angry with her daughter, we can express it like your anger may be due to your deep love for your daughter and concern for her safety. So the client may have a chance to look at the problem from a new, different perspective. Another important skill is enactment, which is frequently used in the systemic therapy. Rather than bring a description problem, person or family is asked to enact and visualize how they communicate ergon. And for this, we use in the systemic therapy, we use kind of objects or the real members of the family can be invited to the therapy, so they will visualize their problem in the therapy context, or they can the clients can prefer to use objects, any objects that he or she thinks that it will represent the members or the important issues regarding their problems. For example, they can choose an object like mouse to represent their mother, which means that mouse can control the somehow the computer. So to control, if she thinks the client thinks that mother is controlling everything is in her life, then mouse can be a good choice. So it will use an object representing their family members or any issues, or they can also choose any other objects to represent their problems, as well as they can use the client and the other system members themselves. The circle questioning is another important technique used in the systemic therapy. This technique can help understand interaction that lead to problem, how the other person's the relationship. Yeah, this technique would have to provoke an undesirable response in other person, rank the family members according to critical team. For example, who was the most least interested in coming today? So using circle questions, we have a chance again the clients to a new perspective, or who suggested to you to the consultation, or what might their expectations be. So rather than learning, knowing their own they will have a chance to know other members' idea or opinions about their coming to the therapy. Now, today, I will talk about...
Dr. Bahadir, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Do you get into the roles that people should be playing in the family, like leaders, followers, doers? Do you get into those roles?
Yeah, exactly. It is like drama techniques. Actually, it is used as it's one of the drama techniques, psychodrama techniques. Normally there are different ways of performing this, but normally the client is chosen to be leader, and client will decide who will represent the things or objects. These objects can be something abstract or concrete, For example, representing their hearts, the client can choose an empty glass, which means that his heart is empty like a glass. Or for his brain, he can or she can choose something like a computer working too much. So this shows that something kind of imbalance. Or also, it is possible that other person can do this enactment, instead of. So either client can take place in this enactment or can be outside of this enactment. It has advantages. If the client is in the enactment, so it will have more feeling of how he or she will be more aware of her or his feelings when he or she is a part of enactment. If the client chooses to be out of this enactment, so he may have a broader perspective to see the overall pictures. So there are different ways of doing enactment, which all depends of also types of the problem the clients bring into the therapy. Also, etc. So depending on the several points, it may vary. But this is very important visualization technique. So it is also possible to visualize or enact the present situation. Also, it's also possible to enact the earlier form of the situation when it began, or 10 years later. So which will have chance to visualize the clients. So we compare the past, present, and future. Now, today's main topic is joining. I will, Ricardo, is it something, is it clear, or you want me to something more clarified?
No, it's very very clear. But Bahadir, I have Dr. Edward Lambert is co-hosting with us today, so I'm kind of accompanying him. But no, I mean the presentation is very clear. The only thing I wanted to mention or ask is, I don't know if our audience, our students are aware, but you're based in Turkey, and not more than 3 weeks ago, there was a massive natural disaster there that affected so many millions and thousands of people. So first of all, I hope that you weren't directly impacted yourself or your family, but I'm sure that you've had a lot of patients or clients who have been devastated, and your ability, your knowledge, your expertise, I'm sure, is in high demand. I mean, I can't even imagine how one can go about counseling in these types of mass natural disasters like earthquakes and things like that, where 1 minute you're secure in your life, the next minute everything is destroyed, and you've lost multiple people. So first of all, our condolences to the people of Turkey, and our wishes to you in helping with the recovery of the minds and spirits of everybody there.
Thank you very much. Actually, some of our relatives injured because I am originally from that area, earthquake area. So some of the houses were collapsed, so somehow we have to support each other, and we do it. And where I live is just few hours away from the earthquake area. So we have also shaken, due to earthquake. So we felt it, although we didn't have a big any loss, but the area I live is Konya is very close to the area. I mean, just few hours away from the earthquake area. So it's like an earthquake storm.
I lived through the 1985 earthquake in Mexico City, I was in Mexico City at the time, and it's unbelievable the amount of destruction and devastation that's all around the city. And looking at the pictures of Turkey, it reminded me of that so many years ago. And
officially almost 50,000 people died, but it is considered that it is 3 or 4 times more than that.
Yes.
Because there are lots of loss of people. Yeah, thank you very much for your wishes and opinions.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Thanks.
But I mean, as far as the presentation, it's going fantastic. It's very clear. I would just like to maybe welcome our students. If you have a question on something, Bahadir is showing us. Dr. Bahadir is showing us several techniques, in particular the circular questioning. So if you're ever counseling or doing therapy, that's an excellent technique to kind of ask, hey, tell on each other, you know, tell on each of the persons here, what are their trigger points? You know, if you wanted to get somebody provoked, what would you do to provoke that person? That kind of gets the whole conversation started, whether it's the family or whatever group therapy you might be doing. So if you have any questions or comment about these techniques, please go to notifications, raise your hand, and I'll let Dr. Lambert add if he has something. Or
just I want to give an example. This is a very effective technique, as you just mentioned. If you are in a therapy and if any member of is not in the therapy context, not present there, then this techniques helps you to include those members or of the system or family to do therapy by asking, for example, if a woman comes to the therapy, and if you like to learn what her partner thinks about what she said, it's possible to ask, if your husband or partner was here, what would he say about the problem? You know, so although the person is not in the therapeutic context, it is very possible to include them to therapy. Also, it's possible to include those who earlier died, you know. So in terms of earthquake and other disasters, also it's important to use these techniques, you know, so that they can somehow fare well, you know. So it is also possible to imaginary things as well as real died people. Okay, sorry to interrupt, Ricardo. I just wanted to think that I just thought it would be important to mention this. I think
thank you, Dr. Bahadir.
You wanted to say something, Ricardo?
No, I mean, I was just saying that practice also helps in the individual identifying with the other person, having empathy, putting themselves in the shoes of the other person. Just that act of reflecting, I think, is therapeutic, because you really kind of can, for a moment, step into the person's shoes and say, okay, what do I do that bothers that person? You know, and it's a great technique, I think, for the therapy and for self-reflection, and so yeah. Well, we see a hand. We see a hand from a student, Emmanuel.
Okay.
Let's see, Emmanuel, do you have something to add to the conversation? Please go ahead.
Yes, so it has to do with the introduction. From the introduction, there are some bullet points that were highlighted, and one of them was that system therapy focuses on changing the system, not the individual. So I'm just struggling to understand just that line.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a very good question.
Yes,
it's a very good question.
I think that the individual is to change some of his traits. So if it's not changing his traits, so how can he benefit from the system, from the whole process?
It means that the therapists or mental health professionals focus on the system rather than the person, you know. So it doesn't mean that the person behavior attitudes will not change, but it will change as a result of the change in the system, you know. So it will not be we will not directly work on the individuals, but we will indirectly work with the individuals by working with their systems. As you know, so they will have chance to also, it gives another advantage. Usually clients have difficulty talking about themselves, and they can easier talk about others and the systems. So it will also relax them. They will feel easy to talk about overall system and others, and also understand the effect of the system, how the system affects, and then it will finally may change the person. But it is not the main objective of therapy, you know. It's not the main objective to change the therapy. Also, sometimes people may choose to keep their present position. Its acceptance is also another option, you know. So we are not always, we don't always focus on changing the client, but we are focusing on creating choices, options, so that they know what their options. They can either choose new options, or they can choose to keep what they have, you know. So it is also a solution, you know. So they will choose to. So the main overall when we mean the systemic therapy focus more on the system rather than the individuals, we work with the system. As a result, they will see how the system affects it, and which will in the end may have a potential to change the client's behaviors or attitudes. Yeah. So it means it will be indirect effect. Yeah. I hope you have the answer. Yeah. Thank you very much. Shall we go on?
Yeah, just a quick question from chat. Is this therapy valid for children, women, and the elderly?
Yeah, sure. Actually, it can be it can be more effective, especially for children, because children problems experienced by children are mostly due to the relationship between other members of the family or the parents. So it will be also useful to use systemic technique with children. Yeah.
Thank you. Please continue with your
welcome.
presentation.
Okay. So I will, today's main topic was joining. I will go with joining. Yeah, joining is very important. As I mentioned in the beginning of the online class, I have chosen this topic for two reasons. Because it was our first time we work together, so we will have chance to learn our expectations, what you want to learn, and so if I can meet these expectations online, so it will be like a joining, you know. Secondly, joining is the very main issue in a therapeutic process. Without a joining, it's not possible to have the demanded effect on the client or client's context, you know. So that for this reason, so joining is not a report, you know, because yeah, by report you have kind of connecting to clients, but it is not joining. Also, it is not the trust, you know. Trust is very important in terms of therapy for a therapeutic alliance, but it's not. It is something different. Therapeutic alliance is also not joining. it is very important to work with a client to resolve the problem, but it is not also joining. Joining is well known, but usually it's not taken seriously, you know. It needs to, it is not something should be conducted once. It should be conducted through the therapeutic process, you know, in every session, beginning of session, end of session. So it is, we can call it as a permanent process that should be conducted. Yeah, so what is tried to be achieved with joining is to make the client feel that we understand how the client perceives his or her words, or so it means that we want to know his or her point of view, you know. So it means that looking at the problem from his or her point of, from her eyes, you know. So her eyes. So make her or him feel that we understand her, and that we don't know her better, she does. So joining doesn't mean that we know the problem better than the clients, but it means that we accept that clients are expertise of their own problems. We are expertise of the therapy, but they are expertise of their own problems. So overall, joining is becoming a member of the client system, you know. So if you can have chance to join the system, it means that you are accepted to system. So early, when the therapy started, you were out of the system, and they gave chance you to be part of this system. So so this is very important, you know. Therapists change their status from being an outsider to being an insider. So it means that you have a power in that system as you are part of this system. So
Fantastic,
somehow,
Dr. Bahadir, sorry to interrupt. Excellent. So yeah, it's a very important trust system. You've entered their family almost. They're confiding in you their secrets, and there's certain kind of sacred boundaries there. I just wanted to ask you, where are we in the overall presentation? We have about 16 minutes left. Are we on track, or should we allow for more questions, or should we continue? How are we doing with time?
okay, thank you very much reminding me. Just give me a few minutes and finish it. Then in the practice slide, if you have an urgent question to clarify, they are welcome.
No, we're okay. I just wanted to know for time management, so we'll continue.
Because sometimes they may learn better when they have an immediate questions. So if they have an immediate question to clarify, I will please to answer.
Not at the moment.
There is one question.
Okay.
Please.
There was my question is, where do dialogues come in on the points highlighted, and what can be advised on dialogues that lead to conflict?
Can you repeat again? I couldn't get it.
Yes, so there's a dialogue around these points during this therapy session. What can you advise when all of a sudden a conflict arises from these dialogues, from these conversations in the session?
Yeah, actually it's the short but with a long answer. In the first few of the conflicts in the therapy session, you mean this? First of all, it is very important to observe without interfering, you know, which will give a chance the therapist to see the clients in their natural context. So it is not, I don't suggest that we should interfere these conflicts. So I suggest that we observe and then see how each member will behave. Which will give a chance to see conflict as if they are in their natural setting, which can be a house or etc. So it will be good to observe how they are behaving in a real conflict. It will also be a good chance to see how they are handling conflict, who is active, who is more passive, their roles in a conflict, starter, So, yeah, this is what I can say briefly. Is it what you asked for, or?
Yes, that was the question from, that was one of the questions from the participant, Kafila.
Okay, so I hope you got the answer. Is it clear?
Yes.
Kafila? Thank you for your question, Kafila. Okay, let me, considering the time, let me clarify a bit more. So overall, joining is the general attitude. For example, which means that with joining, we say that I am here for the client sitting in front of us, So we are ready to understand. I'm just giving a summary of what we have said. Ready to understand his or her word with all our senses, So for example, it will not be a good idea for a client obsessed with hand washing, thinking about obsessive human characteristics in our mind. Would be a wrong attitude, regarding joining. It would be that we would miss the client's actual word, So rather than thinking about an overall characteristic of obsession, it is important to be there in the session for the client and let the client feel. We want to understand his or her particular problem, So so joining means that we have interest in client's life. So we want to hear his or her story, Yeah. So basically, we say that we are here for the client and we want to know her problem, and we want to hear his or her perspective about the problem. Yeah. And then, of course, besides saying it, our attitudes and behaviors should, this is very important, support what we say, It is very important. So using our gestures and attitudes and behaviors, we should support what we are saying. And another thing is, we should not focus on the problem itself, but the client's life. This is also important in terms of clients. Now, I will mention some important joint techniques like confirmation, which means that acknowledging the distress the clients are experiencing. For example, we experience an earthquake. So instead of saying that everybody is experiencing earthquake nowadays, everybody is dying, which means that we don't understand the client. When we confirm, like when we use these sentences, instead of saying this, although you don't have to say any words, you can just touch the client, let her or him or feel that you are there for him, or just say nothing, rather than saying that everybody is dying, everybody is having. It means that you will show that you don't understand the client well, So then client will not let you in his word. Another point is, due to the time, is tracking. Tracking means following the clients and sorry. So to have a shared language, if for example, client using a formal language, if you use informal language, it means that you are not following the client. So it's important to use a similar, not alike, but similar language with the client. If clients like to do doing jokes, you can try to do jokes, you know. So it is it's important to follow how the clients behave in the therapy, and also you do the similar things, you know. Yeah. Okay. Another technique is back channeling. Yeah, like it's we use like words. Wow, really? Okay, all these words can be called as a back channeling, and they are called the paralinguistic encourages. You know, it means that you are taking your turn without taking up time. It means that also it encourages the clients to talk, and you are there and you are actively listening to client. You know, and it should accompany like nodding, hand gestures, etc. You know, another point technique is echoing. Yeah, observing the client's reaction to let them know how you heard it. Like it's like giving a summary of what you listened. You know, and yeah, yeah, it should include empathizing, validating. Yeah, so it means that how clients feel, and then you understand what you heard, you know, basically, as well as these also non-verbal matching is also important. We should also use non-verbal matching. It will also show that you are active listening. For example, you can lean forward. Leaning forward means that you give importance to what the clients say. If the clients lean forward, also you can lean forward to kind of have a warmer relationship. Yeah, so it is important to follow the client's nonverbal attitudes or behaviors so that you follow it, and you can also do the similar behaviors. So we had I think we have a few minutes. Let's look at the exercise 3. For example, yeah, I prepared 3 different exercises. Which one would be video link, and the third one would 2 volunteers would create a dialogue, concentrated time. I will go with the exercise 3. For example, these are the some of the expressions we shouldn't use. I just want you to look at them. What kind of expression can use instead? For example, instead of or you are sad, what can we say? You know, I will please if you express your idea to in order to create a constructive joining during the therapy sessions. Instead of these expressions, what else can we say that in order that we have we can ensure the joining, you know. I will please to hear your opinions or your feedback about this.
So I guess one question from Althea Cross is, how can you move from like a master's in psychology to actually practicing this therapy in your practice? I mean, what sort of thing, what do you have to develop in your knowledge and your skills?
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, we call therapy like a riding a bike, you know. So the more you cycle, the better you learn, you know. So learning and practice should go on together, you know. So when you learn something new, and you should practice it. So having a psychology background or mental health background, I suggest that, so I will go with the last, I have prepared some sessions. you should choose an approach, I guess, to have a training, like a systemic approach, solution-based therapy, or cognitive behavioral therapy, so that you have a certain approach to problems, you know. When you have this approach, and then you can, am I going on the right path to your question?
Yes.
Yeah. So following this, you can choose to work with couples or children. So depending on your clients' characteristics or audiences, you can learn specific techniques. You know, I just mentioned. You know, so if you would like to have if you would like to work with a sexuality or sexual part of therapy, you can have like a systemic sex therapy or cognitive behavioral sex therapy. So it will help you to pigeonholing, you know. So it will help you specialize, you know. So and then besides having a background in psychology or mental health approach, and I suggest, I just mentioned, to have a specific therapy. And when you have therapy training, it's also important to have supervision, and it should be a continuous supervision, you know. So when you have when you keep having therapy, it is important to have be supervised by supervisors when you have difficulty with your clients, you know. So it is much more important than having a training or background psychology, because this is something will ongoing till the end of your life, you know. Whenever you have difficulty or any problems arising during your therapy, you should have chance to get the supervision to be supported, you know. Yeah, I would like to say this for the moment.
I have a question.
Please.
Is a large part of this therapy trying to get people to respect the roles of each person? Like the children have to respect the father, the mother, and then the father and the mother have to respect what the child is trying to develop? Is it the understanding of so that you can respect the other person in your family?
Yeah.
What do you think about respect?
Yeah, respect is important. It is, from my point of view, it is as important. It is like accepting, you know. So if you don't accept the client or a child in the family, the child or the person will not show respect to him or herself, you know. So respect starts with acceptance, you know. So according to systemic therapy, the change, you know, it's a paradox. The change starts when you accept that the problem or the person will not change, you know. This is very interesting. The change will start when you accept that the person or the problem will not change, you know. So accepting is very important. So if the family accepts the child, or if a partner accepts the other partner as he or she is, then as a paradox, we believe that and we see that the change starts. So respect is almost similar to acceptance, you know. So when you accept your clients as they are, and then they feel it, so they will feel that they will be respected. Also, it is for a child in the family, you know. If the child is feel that he or she is accepted as they are in the family, so it will be a good point for that child to have power to change, you know. So respect is, from my point of view, is acceptance, because respect might be cultural, and it may change from the context, but acceptance, I believe, is something universal and global. So everybody can accept others in the system, in their system as they are. So which means that you show respect for that particular person. Yeah.
Okay, we have time for one question. We have Acacio, Edu. Go ahead and ask your question.
Edu?
Good evening.
Hiyo?
Yes. Good evening. You understand me?
Good evening. We can hear you.
Yeah. Good evening. My simple question is, I realized some comportments around my colleague or my neighbor or any kind of some people who maintain the conversation alone without any other person around. What could be the real problem, or that kind of person or person must receive the therapy treatment? And your other group who spend more than 12 hours without sleeping. What could be the problem for that kind of person?
Yeah. So as far as I understand, just to clarify, you say that you have more.
But yeah, please let me be clear. I realize that some person spend more than 12 hours without sleeping. Your other person who speak, you can maintain the conversation, but when we are looking around, we cannot see anybody with whom he is about to maintain the conversation. And what could be the real problem for that person who maintains that comportment?
So I guess the question is if people aren't really getting involved in the conversation because they're sleeping or just tuning out, so to speak, that they're not showing interest and involvement, what do you do? Is that correct, Acacio?
No, it's actually that I want to say. Now, my simple question is, some people, for example, can spend more than 20 hours without sleeping. You can see him at the night. I've been midnight and maintain the conversation without anybody. My preoccupation, it could be if that person is really normal or not. And your other who
So I guess a person who sleeps 20 hours a day, is this normal?
No, it can spend more than 12 hours without sleeping. It can work more than 24 hours without sleeping.
Work more than.
Yes, but we can realize that that kind of person sometimes speak alone without anybody around, but we can realize they do the normal activity. She is working, she has worked very normal without any problem. But my question is, it could be that can be the cause of the stress or the therapy problem that for that person.
So you said the person works too much and don't.
For example, is work too much or they do not work, but you can realize that at the night that person did not sleep, or that person at the night is sick alone without anybody around. It must be, it must receive the therapy treatment or not. That's my question.
Okay. We are, thank you much for your kind question, but in the end, I have my email, you know. If you like, I will please to answer your question, but we are a bit time out. If you like, you can write it to me, to my email, and I will please to return you to your email, okay? To your question. Okay. Is it okay?
Okay, okay.
I just don't want to give a quick, short answer. If you write it to me, then I will be pleased to give a detailed answer to your question. Okay, thank you very much for your questions. Yeah, right. I think we have 3 more questions. You wanna go on? Or,
No, actually, we don't have any more time for questions. So because our time is up for the hour, so you'll have to come back and present in another topic in the future, and then we can continue the conversation. So we will end the live session now.
Yeah, it was nice to have this session with you, to know you, and then have these experiences. This will be an important guide for me for the future classes. Thank you very much.
If you have any questions, you see his email down below for Bahadir Bozoglan at yahoo.com. And so you can write your questions directly to him to understand the situation better. Okay, everybody, thank you all for coming, and thank you so much, Bahadir Bozoglan, for bringing this very interesting subject. There's a lot more to discover in this.